God morning. One of my friends that I work with, she says that, and I know she doesn't mind if I use it because it's so beautiful to say God morning, because it is God's morning. Regardless of what you call God, it's always a disclaimer. It's still a higher power that's operating on your behalf with your permission. So God morning. It's Saturday, and I've been consistent since the first of the year and making sure I get out and walk no less than 20 minutes every day. And I see the difference in my body. Now I have to marry the consistency of the exercise with better eating habits. I don't have horrible eating habits, but they sure could improve, especially in the carb area. So that's what today's intention is to make those better food choices and recognize my triggers to why I don't make better food choices and then work on those. This morning when I was meditating, I woke up this morning, and right now my life is in a transitional space where the rug has been pulled from under me and I landed the way I was supposed to land, on my face. Because if I can land on my face, then I can have my forehead to the ground and I can ask for help for the higher divine power. Some people, when the rug is pulled, they land on their back, so they have to look up to ask. Some people land on their feet because they've done all of the work that they need to do. They know the rug is going to be pulled out. The rug is always being pulled out. Life is one big pulled out rug. Some people know. Either way, I landed flat on my face, but that's a perfect place for me because then I can pull my legs in, forehead to the ground in child's pose, or in what Muslims call prayer pose, or Christians call prayer pose, face down to that ground, forehead down. Also, I believe when you get in that space, it's because there's an all new terrain coming, and you need to connect yourself to earth, to the spirit, to whatever it is you believe in, so that you can have what it takes to get up and keep moving forward. I also believe that because my children are so tightly connected to me, they too are going through a transitional period. It's a transitional period for my family. The beautiful thing about it is they're all recognizing that that's what it is. And we're trying our best to navigate, and we're doing it as a family. That brought up the sins of the parents will visit the children even until the fourth generation. And when I thought about that, I said, well, it doesn't say the consequences or / karma of the sins of the parent will visit them. It says the sins, meaning the thing. And I thought about my generational pattern. We call them generational curses. I believe that words have so much power that understanding the actual definition, not our made up ones, but the actual energetic definition of that word is how we get to understanding and how we can change. So if you come from a family and you look back 3 and 4 generations, if you can, look back. And if you have people that can tell you the things that happen, see if those things aren't happening now with you. For me, it is on both sides. And so when I recognize that, I understand that it is the same sin that is coming to us. And understand something, y'all, poverty is a sin. God ain't never told nobody to be poor. Not in a world full of riches. It is a sin to let yourself not have enough to survive, and to blame other people. Good morning. Is also a sin, because then that is not taking self-accountability. Now we do that a lot. Our favorite person to blame is they. They won't let this and they won't let that. They do a whole lot. And guess what? They get to hide their hand because there is no they. It's always us. It's always us, even if it's us collectively allowing they to do things. They enslave people. They take money from us. They plant drugs in the community. It's always this they. but that they stop existing when we take responsibility for our individual selves and our collective selves. Anywho, back to the sins part and the transitional part, and understanding that when, excuse me, guys, when the transitional part is happening, you have choices to make. You can put your forehead down to that ground, meditate and be still, and know that your higher power is definitely always available. The first thing you have to do is you have to forgive. You have to forgive yourself, especially if you're the one that did the sinning. You have to forgive yourself because you did it. It's like Jesus said, you know not what you do. Now, some would argue and say, you knew it was wrong, but did you really understand the consequences of it? Did you really act from a place of healthiness? You couldn't have, because healthy people don't do unhealthy things. Just don't. There are levels of health, so there's levels of what some people are capable of. Completely unhealthy people run around here raping children, beating up people, and carrying on. People who have some health run around here committing infidelities fully. People who have a little bit more health go run around here almost doing things that are really detrimental. You get what I'm saying. The healthier you are, the sin starts to lift up. Now, I know some people say a sin is a sin is a sin. If you steal an apple, you're just as guilty as somebody who go in and rape 10 babies and kill their mamas. Y'all the same. I don't agree with that, but I'm not going to tell you you're wrong for believing that. That doesn't resonate with me. What I think happens is, if you steal that apple and you get away with stealing that apple and you have no remorse for stealing that apple, you will continue to move up the thief line until you become more than a thief. But that doesn't mean you're going to jump all the way over the line when you're killing babies and mamas. I just don't believe that. I also, you heard me before, no, I don't agree with that whole once a liar, always lie. Once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't agree with that. Once you come into the knowledge of yourself, you've been made whole again. You ain't them things. Once you surrender and submit, when you give your life to Christ, when you give your life to Allah, when you give your life to Buddha, when you give your life to Yeshua, whoever you say, Divine Mother, whatever, when you say, make me whole, I am so broken. Let me tell you something, honey child. That thing starts to come together again. And the people who sit around you telling you you always that, you don't have to listen to them. Because even when your sin affects another person, you are still not responsible for their reaction to your action. Now that right there, that's a word. People don't want that though. Because if you wrong me and I smack you upside your head, if I'm a woman and you step out on me and I smack you upside your head, society says she should have hit him because he shouldn't have been cheating on her. But if I go have an affair on my husband and he hits me, they said, leave him. He's an abuser. I don't care what you did. He did not have the right to hit you. He could have just left you. So letting society pick your life, that probably ain't a good thing. Society all over the goddamn place. Go within. And when I say your sin has nothing to do with them, you didn't do it because of anything they did. You did it because of you and what's inside of you. And their reaction ain't had nothing to do with you. Their reaction is because of what's going on inside of them. Their trauma, their individual pattern of how to deal with traumas. Or we, I believe, draw to us the experiences that are going to help us to level up. But the first thing it does is it hurts. Because all healing starts with pain. You can't heal something if you don't know it's broken. If you don't know it, and how do you know? Pain. So if you can understand that, if you can get to your great-great-great-great-grandparents' story and see their sins, you might understand why those same sins are visiting you. Not the consequences so much, but the same sins. You're doing the same thing. but you can change it. Now, scientists are now admitting to something that spiritual world already knew. I'm not saying I knew it, but the spiritual world sure had that information for when I was ready to pick it up. And that is, pain is stored in your DNA. Trauma is stored in your DNA. And when all of those things are stored in your DNA, what happens is you then take that and utilize it in an unhealthy way. So if they're now seeing genes of people, and they're able to go into the gene and figure out trauma genes. They may not know the exact trauma, but they can figure out, oh, this is a trauma gene, this is a reaction to this or to that. And then if they know the people, then they can figure it out a little bit more. So that's what the earthly man is doing. The godly man, the spiritual being, been telling us that in 4 major books. The Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Talmud. Even though men have tampered with those books, the essence of truth can never be removed from it. So if you're one that can sit and study, sit and pray, sit and meditate, you already connected to God, to the divine, by whatever name you call. I believe the name you kind of lean towards, that's your tribe group. Like, I think I told you the story before. I'm going to say this and I'm going to let you go after I gratefully thank you for listening, because I do believe that God, the divine mother, speaks through me. One reason I believe it is, before I say anything, I say, divine mother, help me to say what you would want me to say, and help me to help someone, starting with myself, with my words. So your tribe group, I believe that there are lives on all the planets. We ain't the only people. We ain't the only game in town. We ain't the only game in the stratosphere. I could be wrong, but I could be right? Anywho, I believe that we have God sets, God groups, like tribes, like the Bible kind of gives us a little hint into it with the 12, or maybe 13 tribes of Israel. Perhaps we belong to different tribes. And so the name that resonates you, like for some people, there is power in the name of Jesus. I mean, they just say the name Jesus over and over again and stuff just start happening. I believe that because I've said it and stuff start happening. But I've also called on the name of Mustafa Muhammad and stuff happened. I've also called on the name of Divine Mother and stuff happened. I've also asked for help and assistance from the Buddha or from the Tao Te Ching. I've called on everything. And then I did my DNA, y'all, and found out that all of those ones that I call on so heavily are in my ancestral DNA. I was wondered why I felt so connected to Buddha or to the Tao Te Ching. And that's because in my ancestry, there's some Philippine, there's a little bit of people from Japan. So that coming through me, I'm connected. You know, the Asian culture, I connect to it. But I love the black culture. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those people, you know, I got Indian in my family. I ain't all the way black. Girl, I'm 1,000% black and loving it 2,000%. And if I died today and was given the choice of what to come back as, I'm checking black, but they're black on that box every time. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I love this experience. And because even if you argue with me, you can't argue with science. Civilization began in that place where I come from, which means I started this shit and I'll shut this shit down when I feel like it. Just wanted to put a little humor. Anyway, I got to pick up my pace, and I've already been on here 15 minutes. Thank you so much for your time. Your Saturday is so precious. I love you so very, very much. Now go and look at those sins that your grandparents and great-grandparents did and fix them for yourself. And understand that the people they affected, they may never forgive you. And that's okay. But you will then be leveling up more. And you will then connect with people on a higher level that not only understand love and forgiveness, but y'all can flow more. But keep sending love to those people who couldn't find it in their hearts to forgive you, who thought you were going to always be that. And just stop being that. Like Jesus told that woman at the well, go and sin no more. Like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad told that lady that man who wrote him this 10-page letter about not being able to quit smoking. And he wrote back 2 sentences, no 3. Just stop smoking. The guy said, how do I do it? That was the guy at the end of his 10-page dissertation on why he smoked. He said, so please tell me, how can I stop? Elijah Muhammad wrote back, just stop smoking. It's that fucking simple, people. Just stop doing it. When you stop doing it, temptation's going to come. But you keep lifting yourself up and you'll be in a better place. All right. Bye-bye, guys.